Right, I wanted to go through this homework first. So some of the words that you may not have understood that I would have liked you to research when you're going through this. Biodegradable. Biodegradable means something that can be broken down by bacteria, something that is naturally broken down. Compostable, something that is biodegradable and can help support plant growth. Compost is what we use to help grow plants. Danger, to put something at risk. Microplastics, very, very small bits of plastics. Some humans have recently been found with microplastics in their stomachs, which is not good. And toxic, something that's poisonous or harmful. So they are the simple explanations of some of the words you saw here. So question number 1. Which of these is not a way the plastic enters the environment? Give me an answer to this, please. Katie.
By being dug up from the ground.
Exactly, yeah. You can't find plastic in the ground because it's a man-made substance, okay? It's a man-made substance. Find 2 examples of items in the text that implies will break down over time. What's some things that will break down over time? Packer, from the text, from what we read, what will break down over time?
A paper. Fruit peel.
Yes, there we go. Thank you so much. And could be endangering the existence of some of our much-loved creatures. Write a word or phrase the author have used instead of endangering in this sentence.
We could say that endanger. We could say endanger into to put something at risk.
Yeah, that's fine.
Or
to put something
in danger.
We'll skip number 5. Summarize the section titled "Threats to Wildlife" in 30 words or less. So I'll read out some of your answers. Okay, that's a long time to make plastic disappear. Not a very good answer. Plastic is harmful to the animals that accidentally eat it and affects the food chain because of the scarcity of the animals. Yes, fine. Rosie. Yes, good answer. What is this, Billy? Billy, what answer is this?
P.
I'm very dissatisfied with a lot of this homework. Apologies. Okay, that's good. Okay. Right. What I'm going to do is I am going to correct this homework. I'm going to give you comments about it and send it back to you. I can't spend too long at this now because I'm get back to this concept and this idea. What kind of questions are you going to research? What kind of questions are you going to answer?
I think that I would try to answer that. What have Vietnam do to control the solid waste?
Yeah, perfect. What is Vietnam doing to help try control solid waste? Cool. Carrie, questions will you answer with your project?
I will research about how do Vietnamese people make their compost, and how do they make trash go away or just burn it?
Okay. So tonight you're all gonna have to write down 3 questions as well, and you're gonna have to bring these questions.
A question.
3 questions about this, your solid waste project. What 3 questions will you try to answer? Just give examples of 3 questions. Every single student needs to give 3 questions that they will try to answer in their project. Understand? So we need to go through this quickly. We've only got 20 minutes left, unfortunately, because students aren't just not paying attention. So solid waste. What do you think solid waste is? Very simple. Lucy, what's solid waste?
Solid waste is waste made from solid. It's solid waste. It's just solid waste.
Okay, but let's try be a bit more specific, please.
Okay, so solid waste kind of the leftover part of a thing or food or anything that we didn't use anymore.
Lucy, that is, you know what? That's a perfect answer. Okay. Solid waste refers to waste that is created by animals or by humans that is no longer needed by them. Okay. No longer needed by them. This is garbage, refuse. These are some other words that refer to talk about waste. The difference is that when we're talking about solid waste, we're talking about things that are not liquids. They're not gases. They're literally things that we put into the trash. Okay, things that we put into trash. That is what solid waste is. So a question that you would think about asking when you're doing your project is, what is solid waste? And explaining what solid waste actually is. In this case, you have a definition, you have an explanation. So, I asked this question before. What are some things that you throw into the garbage? B. Food. Okay, cool. Food. Kang, what's something else you throw into garbage?
Paper.
Paper. Okay, cool. Ben, what are some things you throw into garbage?
Like I don't know, plastic.
Plastic. Cool. Metals. Okay, cool. So there's lots of things, right? Remember yesterday we spoke about classification. We spoke about the different types of waste you would throw into a bin. You can throw organic waste. Organic waste is things like food. You can throw paper into the bin. That's newspaper, that's packaging, whatever it is. Plastic, bottles, glass bottles, cans, metal cans, e-waste, electronic waste, and mixed waste as well. So these are all forms of solid waste. These are all things that we no longer need. These are all things that we throw directly into the garbage, and these are all things that we can measure. Now, in these situations, if we were to separate and classify organic, paper, plastic, glass, metal, electronic, and even mixed, well, these are all recyclable in some way. These are all reusable in some way as well. So I want you to keep thinking about this when you're thinking about solid waste, because this is a very, very important part of what you're going to do with your project, is to be able to separate your trash into these particular classifiers and these particular categories so that you can measure them as well. So here's a simple question. What type of solid waste do you think causes the most?
I think that it's like plastic waste.
Okay. What do you think?
I also agree with Han. I think it's plastic waste.
I think it's plastic. Okay. Anyone think it's anything else? Who thinks paper waste is the most? Which one do you think causes the most trash, Winter? If you think it's plastic, please raise your hands in Zoom. Okay. If you think it's metal, please raise your hands. If you think it's food, please raise your hand in Zoom. Well, you are all wrong. The most amount of waste is created by food waste. The research I did showed that food waste consists of about 22% of the overall waste that we are actually getting rid of. Now, in Vietnam, I know this number is actually much higher. I know that the number of wasted food, because I actually did research on this for another project that I'm working on, the amount of food waste in Vietnam is close to about 60%. 60% of food in Vietnam is actually wasted. It's not eaten. It's just thrown away, which is not good at all. Very, very, very high number. Food is the biggest contributor to overall waste, which is such a shame because food is so easily compostable. It's so easily removed. It's so easily dealt with that this kind of situation doesn't need to occur. But food waste is the highest contributor to overall. So I'm going to quickly ask you about and talk to you about plastics because we had plastics anyway. Yes, Hacker. Good question.
I can't imagine how much flies over all the food waste.
Flies actually help break up the food. Can anyone tell me how does a fly eat? This is why you should never eat food that has flies on it, because what flies do is they land on their food, get sick, and the sick contain certain enzymes and acids which breaks up the food. They then suck up the food as well. So a fly gets sick on food and then eats the food. So you should never really eat anything that a fly has landed on because it's got sick on it. So you know. Okay, so who can tell me where do plastics come from? How are plastics created? Imagine if you all go to the internet now and type in, how are plastics created? How are plastics made? How are plastics made?
It's made of oil.
Yes, it's made of oil and natural gas. It's the burning of oil and natural gas that causes plastics to be created. Now, you can tell me If you want, you can use the internet to search the answer. You can tell me how or why are plastics so difficult to degrade? Why are they so difficult to break down? Who can tell me or who can find that answer?
So I think that it was hard to move, hard to remove or hard to degrade because like first it was like and the plastic there were no chemical like they're just chemicals, but they're nothing from the nature like no soil or no maybe greens or something. They're just about chemicals, and then also like the lid of it was like pretty have like the the paint colors in it.
Nah, do you know what the funny thing about plastics is? Plastics are generally made out of hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen. Hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen, which are the same things, which are made of sugars, which make up you. Plastics are made from natural things. It's just the way in which they're made is a little bit unnatural. Okay, the increased burning of plastics creates long chain carbons, which are very, very hard to break up. It takes a lot of energy to break them up, which nature can actually survive. Doesn't matter. I wanted you to try research it. Okay, right. I'm going to show you a quick video about plastic pollution. I want you to take notes. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to create your table to make measurements for your project. Actually, I'll do that first because I want to make sure we have time. Okay. So over the next 2 weeks, you are going to start measuring and recording the amount of waste that you have in your own home. Okay. So you can tell me, how are you going to measure this? How are you going to measure the waste? What are you going to do? How are you going to find out how many kilograms of waste there are?
For me, I think I just put it on the scale to
Yeah.
like
The scale is
find
fine.
out.
Perfect. Scales. Lily, what are you going to use to measure the weight of the trash?
I am also gonna do like Rosie.
Use a scale. Scale sounds like a good idea. Well done. So all of you should be using a scale to measure your trash. You need to put the trash onto the weighing scales and write down the weight in kilograms. Remember this, you need to categorize as well. Think about what we said here. There are many different types of waste: organic, paper, plastic, glass, metal, electronic, and mixed. What I would encourage you to do is to start by finding ways to separate these into different types of trash bin so you can measure the weight of them as well, because you need to know their weight as well. Okay? So what you need to make sure is that you're measuring the total. You are then getting the weights of the different types of trash that you have in your own home: the organic, the paper, the plastic, the glass, the metal, whatever it is. You need to separate them into different bins so you can measure the weights of them. So do I make myself very clear on this? Yes? So what you then need to do is you need to create a table. Now, this is a very, very simple table. And what you need to then do is write down your results. So for example, if you wrote on day number 1, okay, day 1, I had 56 kilograms of trash. Now, I do not think you're going to have 56 kilograms because that is a very, very high amount, like twice the weight of all of you, just in case. So plastic waste, you can say it was 4 kilograms. Food waste was 32 kilograms. And then the other was 4, 32, 36, 20 kilograms. Now, what I would like for you to do here is to think about the other things you can put. For example, paper or metal. Let's get rid of this actually. So we can say paper was 10 kilograms and metal was 7 to the ground. So I want you to measure the total, measure how much the classification or how much of each of the categories of waste you actually got as well. I want you to measure that day 1, day 2, day 3, every day for the next 2 weeks. Does everyone understand that? Everyone understands. You need to meet to make
Yes.
sure your tables are the same. All right, cool.
I have a question.
Yes, Pat, what's your question?
So are we gonna measure the weights and then make that an average?
No, just measure the weights of everything. You can put them all together. That's the point. If your tables are all the same, you can literally just put all the weights together. It's not the hardest thing to do in the world, is it? Add 4 or 5 weights together. Pretty easy. Okay, right. That's your homework. Write down 3 questions that you're going to answer from your project. Make tables in your groups. Everyone needs to make their own table and begin to measuring your own waste as well. Okay. I'll send comments back about your homework too, and I'll make sure your parents can see your reasons for not doing your homework too as well. Okay. So thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.